Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live transfer show on Football Podcast. My name is Ozzy, and I'm your host for this evening. We finally got some sort of progress when it comes to Liverpool related transfers, so it's only right that we discuss some of those rumours. Plus, we'll give our reaction to the Champions League draw that took place earlier on today. So let's start with the first one, Nick Woltemade. So let me present the tweet that pretty much broke the internet to some extent, not completely, but it definitely raised some awareness regarding Liverpool and Newcastle fans. And the rumor, or should I say official news now, is that Nick Baltimore to Newcastle. Here we go. Agreement in place after official bid accepted. Fee over 80 million plus add-ons medical in England in the next 24 hours with travel being arranged right now. Long-term deal agreed with Voldemort, who says yes to Newcastle. Now, I saw some footage earlier on that I think he's actually arrived at Newcastle already, so he's probably either taken part of his medical today or he's just arrived and will get used to um, getting used to sort of the area, and then he'll be introduced to do the medical tomorrow at some point. So this could be presented as official news tomorrow evening. Now, my thoughts on the player. We actually covered him a few weeks ago, probably a bit longer than that, probably about a couple of months ago, because we were unsure in terms of who's Liverpool were going to target when it came to strikers. Of course, the number one target is Alexander Isak, and he still is, to be honest with you, but we had to look at the market and see who else is out there. And Nick Woltemade was definitely one that caught my attention due to his size. He's 6'8", something of that range. Um, but for a player of that build, he's actually got really quick feet, really good dribbler, decent finisher. I think in the last couple of German friendlies, he was the one that was leading the line. So definitely a player that's highly regarded in Germany. For me, has good ability. Um, I've seen some comments from Newcastle fans that were slightly shameless, but look, if it makes them happy and it allows Liverpool to get our man, which is Alexander Isak, they can say whatever they like. I've read certain things where Newcastle fans believe they've got the better deal in terms of they've paid around £75 million, including add-ons, and then that's given them a bit more of a cushion with PSR because Liverpool are expected to break the transfer record, and they feel like they've got the better end of the stick. I'm not quite so sure, to be honest with you. Of course, only time will tell. But I think in terms of the profile of the striker, is probably the best option they had in the market. Strand Larson, I think, was probably the one they wanted, but due to not meeting Wolves' valuation, I'm surprised that actually never happened because they were only £5 million off, and they've actually bidded more money for Baltimore. So maybe this was an opportunistic target for them and didn't realize that it's a possibility. And all of a sudden, the player was like, yes, he's interested in the move. So that's probably why he's moved over to Newcastle. So for me, it's a good signing for Newcastle. Um, I wouldn't go as far as saying they've got the better deal. Some fans are still holding on to their life, thinking they're going to play a 4-4-2 with Isak and Voldemort leading the line. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is the one that will get the ball rolling, and I think the dominoes are falling into place now. So for me, yeah, I'm expecting Liverpool to strengthen their stance in regards to signing Isak. Now, the big talking point we got throughout the summer was that Newcastle needed to sign two strikers because they have, of course, they've got Isak, who now I would assume would be leaving to join Liverpool, but they've also sold Callum Wilson, so they need two strikers to come in. So the other strikers that have been in the rumor mill right now is Johan Wissa and Jurgen Strand Larsen. Wissa has been linked forever with a move to Newcastle. I think they're going to go with one more punt on the player and try and get him over to Tyneside. Whereas Jorgen Strand Larsen, the current rumor is that they're not pursuing the striker anymore. They see him as quite similar to Voldemort, so therefore they don't want to sign a like for like striker. They would rather go for Johan Wissa, who would be a different option. You know, he can play as a striker, but can also play as a wide forward and can also play alongside a striker if they ever decide to go for 4-4-2. So he gives you a bit more flexibility in terms of how you set up as a team. So I think Johan Wissa is the target that they're going for. Whether they get him this window or not remains to be seen. But I do think he is going to be regarded as um, their potential target, or shall I say, their last sort of ditch attempt to try and get the striker and end up, getting two strikers in. But I feel like even if Wissa doesn't come through, Voldemort is pretty much the Isak replacement in my eyes. So it looks like Liverpool could finally be getting their man. And the current rumor is that Liverpool are ready to go all in and bid again for Alexander Isak, as players' stance has never changed. Isak only wants Liverpool, and if Newcastle decide to open the doors after Voldemort, uh, with one striker potentially also to join Liverpool already. I don't think it's based on Newcastle signing two strikers. I think Voldemort is pretty much done now. So because they've signed their like for like replacement for Isak, they're not going to delay any further because it makes zero sense for them to keep Isak further at the club. It would make more sense for them to, finally come to terms and make that deal happen for Isak to Liverpool. And then if they can get a second striker, fantastic. If not, it's something they can look towards in the January markets. I have a strong feeling that we should be placing an official bid tomorrow. I've already heard some whispers online that a bid has already been submitted, but it's just not been officially announced. So the fee that I'm hearing is around 130 million. I think that should be enough to seal the deal, and that will beat the British transfer record as well. So yeah, I'm expecting Isak to be a Liverpool player very, very soon. So hopefully we'll get that bomber tomorrow. And if we do, we'll definitely be doing an impromptu show and we'll have to bring out the shisha in celebration of us finally landing our star striker, and that, of course, will be Alexander Isak. So yeah, looking forward to seeing some official news because I feel like it's going to happen now, sooner rather than later. Of course, we don't have too much time. It's the 29th. It's gone past midnight now, so 3 more days left until the window closes. But I feel like Liverpool will get the ball rolling and they will get that deal done very, very soon. Now, on to some other transfer news regarding Liverpool. And apparently, there has been an agreement for Tsimikas to Roma, and I believe the deal is getting closer now. The terms of the deal is a loan move until June 2026, or 1 year loan with the salary covered. Tsimikas has said yes to the move and is pushing for it to happen. Uh, deal is regarded as being very, very close as Salah Eddin, uh, the Roma defender, is also leaving the club very soon, and is actually, in fact, on the verge of joining PSV. So my thoughts on Tsimikas leaving, for me, it's no huge surprise that he is on the move. He's third choice in the squad, so of course not going to get as much game time as he would like. I thought he may have stayed in the Premier League because there's a lot of interest from the likes of Nottingham Forest. But a move to Roma is not a bad move at all. It's a very respectable club, a club that has challenged for major honours, whether it's in Europe and Serie A, from previous years. They're a very, very passionate fan base. And of course, we'll be moving over to Rome, where, of course, the lifestyle is not too bad, is it? So he'll be, you know, living in Italy, where he'll be, accustomed to a certain lifestyle and probably some good weather as well at some point. So it's a good move, for 1 year. And it'll be interesting to see what happens after that move because it's a loan move. So there is no obligation to buy, or there isn't even an option to buy. So he is expected to return to Liverpool after the end of this loan. So does that mean he still has a future at Liverpool? Possibly. You can't rule it out if there hasn't been an option to, give another club the chance to sign him, it looks like they still, have some sort of value for him. Whether that is to come in next season and replace Robertson, who looks like could be leaving as it's his final year of his contract. And then you see Tsimikas being the experienced cover for Kirkes next year. Um, so that could be how I see it in terms of the way the team sets up next season. But I think it's a good move for Tsimikas. Ticks all the boxes. Hopefully, he gets game time. He's replacing a player there, so he should be, a first choice left back at the club. So yeah, if it happens, which I think it will, I do wish him the best because he's always, giving his all when it comes to Liverpool. Seems like a very, you know, friendly person. Seems, very loved at the club amongst his peers. So yeah, hopefully, he has a good loan spell. And, if he comes back, with more experience, or not experience, he's 29, but as in if he's played a lot of game time and he's in better shape next season and, he's able to help Liverpool at some point, if that's the plan, I'm all for it. So yeah, hopefully he has a good long spell. Let's see, what the future holds for Simicast. Now, that's the final rumor. There's not been too many rumors circulating. Nothing regarding Mark Gay, so hopefully we'll get some sort of development tomorrow. But something that did take place today is the Champions League draw. So it's only right that we go through the teams that we've drawn with. Plus, we'll also mention or go through the other British teams and see who they've drawn with in the Champions League as well. But before we do, I've just seen a comment here from AR who says, "Big up Aussie in chat, smash the like and subscribe. Baltimore for 69 million to Newcastle. That could mean Isak off to Liverpool. We need Mark Gay, a CDM, and a winger before the summer transfer window shuts. You'll never walk on. Big up AI. I hope you're doing well. Now, in terms of that deal, yes, it's around I think it was 75 million that I read from Romano Street. So yeah, 69, 75 million, that kind of range, including add-ons. It's probably the fee that they were trying to pay for Ekitike. I'm surprised they've gone for Baltimore, to be fair, because they were only 5 million short in order to get Strand Larson from Wolves. Maybe therefore Baltimore has a higher ceiling, and maybe therefore he's more value for money. But that's not really our concern. What our concern is that he's able to replace Isak in that Newcastle team, and Liverpool can, you know, hopefully go on and place that official bid and sign Alexander Isak. So in terms of what Newcastle do, it's none of our business. As long as we can get signed our player, that's the main thing right now. So I'm very positive and very confident that we will place that bid tomorrow. So yeah, looking forward to that. Um, let's see. And you've also said we need Mark Gay, a centre mid, and a winger before the transfer window shuts. Mark Gay, 100%. I think that's the player that we definitely need to sign. I think we'll get some sort of development, um, hopefully in the coming days. When I say coming days, we don't have too many days left, do we? So maybe. So what I read as well, and actually, do you know what? It might be worth having a look now because um, what I heard was that Crystal Palace wanted Mark Gay to play their final sort of European fixture, and then they would then allow him to make that move to Liverpool. So let's have a look. So I'm assuming Crystal Palace have played today. Let me have a look at their results, or it might be something that's taking place. So yeah, so they are through now. So they it was a goalless draw today against Fredrikstad. So that means they are through to the group stage of the Europa Conference League. So, that they've achieved their target and they've done it through, um, using Mark Gay, but that could be Mark Gay's last appearance and last contribution. So hopefully, We do see Mark Gahey coming through the door very, very soon, and hopefully before the end of the window. You're saying I'm muted. I can see that my mic is working, so if I'm still muted, please do let me know. I'll have to plug it in and out, but I can see that it is working right now. So maybe it was for a moment, but if you still can't hear me, please do message me again, and I'll have to restart my laptop, or I'll have to do something to try and fix that. Uh, AR says we need to offload Simicast, Elliot, Reese, Williams, Bastich, and Calvin Ramsey. I totally forgot about Reese Williams, to be fair. Um, I don't know what we're going to do with him, to be honest with you. How is Reese Williams? Is he. Could we just utilize him in the under 23s? I don't know. He's 24 years of age. It's time for him to move on. Maybe he'll get a move before the end of the window. If not, I do expect it to be a loan move. Calvin Ramsey, I did hear that a loan move is on the cards. I'm trying to remember which club it was. Let me quickly check. But there was concern in regards to um, his injuries, so that it wasn't something that had happened straight away. Um, but let's see, because he did go on loan to Kilmarnock quite recently, but I think there is some interest from the Championship, so maybe he gets a loan move by the end of the window. In terms of Bajcetic, it's been pretty much communicated that he will stay at the club. Firstly, he's injured, so I don't think we'll be able to get him through the door before the end of the window. And he could provide us decent cover for that double pivot role. So for me, I'm not too concerned or don't have any strong sort of emotions in regards to Bashis remaining at the club. If he can play a part, whether it's through cup games, I'm all for that. In terms of Elliot, I'm expecting Elliot to stay, if I'm being honest with you. There hasn't been any development in regards to him joining Red Bull Leipzig. We did hear a rumor yesterday about Palace, but not really heard anything since then. Tottenham were linked with him previously, but that news seems to have fizzled out. They've actually targeted Xavi Simons as well. So Chelsea and Tottenham are going head to head to try and sign the Dutch attacker. So for me, I think Elliot might stay until at least January. Um, and I don't think it's a bad decision because we are a little bit slim when it comes to attacking cover. So for me, he will provide that cover for the number 10 role, plus cover for Mohamed Salah. So I'm not, against that. I don't mind him staying as long as he's happy to play for the club, which I'm sure he is. Of course, he's a boyhood red, so you shouldn't really have too many issues about that. I'm quite pleased to have him for the foreseeable future. So yeah, for me, I'm expecting him to stay. And Tsimikas, as we reported earlier on, he is expected to join Roma. They're on the verge of selling Saladin, who is another fullback. He's on the verge of joining PSV. So once that deal is announced, I'm expecting Tsimikas to come in as his replacement. So yeah, that should be happening very, very soon. AR says Liverpool EPL fixtures: Arsenal, Burnley, Everton, Palace, and Chelsea. So after the Arsenal fixture, it's not looking too bad. The Everton's going to be an interesting affair. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the fixtures. The Arsenal one, I am a little bit concerned, if I'm being brutally honest. We'll do a match preview very soon. If we get Isak, or if we place an Isak bid tomorrow, we'll have to move our match preview to Saturday. Because I was due to do it today, but due to the transfer updates, I thought it's only right that we prioritize that. So Arsenal match preview will be either done later on today in terms of Friday, or it will be done on Saturday. Um, but yeah, I am concerned in terms of our defensive setup. So hopefully, you know, Latte can fix up because he's been quite awful in the last few days, or should I say, last couple of games. So hopefully there's an improvement from that front. AR says Liverpool versus Southampton third round EFL Cup. I'm not bad at that one. I think that's a good tie for us. It will give a lot of our squad players slash youngsters a chance to get some first team football, first team action. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So the likes of Rio, Trenioni, Harvey Elliott if he's staying at the club, Chiesa. these players will get some game time going forward. So I'm not mad at that fixture, and it's a good one. It's at Anfield as well, so that does help in regards to his progression within the cup. Daniel saying, "Well, not me." Thank you, Daniel, for confirming. Appreciate that. Uh, AR says Liverpool UCL fixtures. Galatasaray, Marseille, Frankfurt, Karabakh, PSV, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, and Inter Milan. We'll discuss that very, very shortly. I was just about to do that before you commented. AR says we need squad depth and reinforcement. We do, but I'm sure we'll be addressing at least two positions by Monday, and that should be centre back and striker in the form of Mark Gahey and Alexander Isak. Um, 2 games, 4 goals. We need to stop leaking goals. Yeah, defensively, we do need to fix up. But I don't think it's more of a claim. I think it's just individual areas or individual performances that have let us down. So I'm hoping that does improve. And you just have to take the thought that we've just started the season. So players are still trying to find their rhythm, but you know, with defenders, you're expecting it to be a bit more of a smoother transition than in comparison to new signings or attackers in your team. So let's see. Hopefully, Liverpool can improve. Of course, it's going to be a tough test against Arsenal this Sunday, but sometimes those type of affairs uh, uplift the team, and we could be able to produce a really good performance. So who knows in terms of how that's going to pan out, but we'll definitely discuss that in the match preview. I just got another comment here before we move on. AR says we're bad at set pieces, long balls, high lines, crosses, making mistakes, slow plays, direct plays, free kicks, corners. We got to get better. Yeah, we do. A lot of different areas you mentioned. I think set pieces we are quite poor at, to be fair. And it's definitely an area we need to improve. So set pieces definitely need to learn to defend better. But I'm sure the team will improve as the time goes on. So yeah, so let's go through the UCL draw that took place earlier on today. So Real Madrid at home, and I'm sure a lot of us Liverpool fans wanted that, for obvious reasons, where we get to see this fella, back at Anfield, but not in a Liverpool shirt. We see him, you know, as a rival, and I feel like this is what a lot of Liverpool fans wanted, including myself. I did want us to be joined with Real Madrid, and I wanted it to be at Anfield. So when he comes back, he realized what he's missing or what he's done, was an error. Not saying I'd ever want him back, but we've got to show him, what it's like to be on the other side, because I don't think he realizes, the magnitude of what's happening in terms of him leaving Liverpool. So it's going to be a feisty encounter, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Now, in terms of the other fixtures, Atletico Madrid at home, which is a good tie there. We've got some history with Atletico Madrid where a few years ago they knocked us out. So that one still stings. So hopefully we can get some sort of revenge with that one. PSV should be a good game as well. Gakpo's former club. Karabakh at home. So it was pretty much sticking at Anfield, which is good. Inter Milan last year's finalists at their stadium in San Siro. So that should be an exciting affair as well. Frankfurt, so Ekitike goes back to his old club at their stadium, which will be a nice touch there. Marseille, south of France, so it should be a nice atmosphere there. And they've got some decent players there as well, to be fair. So should be an interesting fixture. And Galatasaray, always a fiery encounter. It's at Istanbul as well. So yeah, it's gonna be chaos nonetheless. But in terms of the teams that we've drawn with, I have to say, I feel like we've got the hardest draw. We've got some real strong teams here. We've got the two Spanish teams here. We've got Inter Milan, last year's finalists, Frankfurt, solid German team, PSV. They've been solid for the last few years as well. Marseille, not sort of league winners in recent years, but still a very strong outfit. Karabakh for me slightly unknown in terms of what players they have, but should be an intriguing affair nonetheless. And against Galatasaray, the atmosphere is so hostile that it can impact the outcome of the game. So I'm looking forward to a lot of these fixtures. That's probably one good thing about the new format, and I'm kind of slowly getting into it and enjoying it a little bit more because you get to play the big teams quite early on, which that's how it should be when it's the Champions League because supposed to be the best of the best in one competition. So for me, I don't mind the format. It's just that I feel like if you're pot one, you seem to get the harder draws, which is what I feel like was the case today. If you look at other teams that were in pot two and pot three, they got the weaker fixtures in my opinion. So yeah, I feel like it was a slight punishment on someone that's been successful like Liverpool over the years. Uh, but look, in these competitions, you have to play the best teams at some point. So if it's at the group stages or the first phase, I should say, then so be it. I'm not too fast, but yeah, I'm looking forward to these fixtures. Very, very exciting affair for Liverpool, and I think the first few matches actually start in September. So yeah, looking forward to that. So let's have a look at Arsenal in terms of who they've been drawing. So they've got Bayern Munich at home, which is a good fixture as well. Inter, so same like Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, Club Brugge away. I expect them to do well there. Olympiacos, so yeah, decent team, but should be a walk in the park for them. Slavia Praha away. That's not an easy tie, to be honest with you. On paper, you're probably thinking Arsenal have the better team, but it's a very hostile environment. We've been there. And I think we lost there a few years ago, so not an easy one at all. Clara Almaty, I think this is their debut in the Champions League, so yeah, it should be an interesting one. And Atletico Bilbao as well. So for me, not not the hardest of fixtures. I think they've got the better fixtures in comparison to Liverpool's. So yeah, Arsenal probably count themselves a bit lucky there. Man City, on the other hand, they've got a very, very strong run of fixtures there. They've got Dortmund at home, Real Madrid away, so back to playing in the Bernabeu. Leverkusen at home, Villarreal away, Napoli at home, Bodo Glimt away, Galatasaray at home, and Monaco. So some good teams there. Not a walk in the park, very tricky and some tough fixtures there. So it's going to be a difficult one for Man City. Uh, Chelsea. They've got some decent teams. They're facing Barcelona at home, Bayern Munich away, Benfica home, Atalanta, who are a tricky outfit, and they'll be facing them away. Ajax make their return. They'll be facing them at home. Napoli away, Pafos, and then you got Karabag as well. So in terms of the first six teams, I'd say they are the tougher fixtures. The last two they should expect to get the wins there, but it's not an easy run of fixtures in comparison to Arsenal's, I think, but still got some tricky components there. Tottenham, they've got some decent fixtures here as well. Dortmund at home, Paris, Saint-Germain away. So they probably want to try and get some revenge for that Super Cup loss there. Villarreal at home, Frankfurt away, Slavia Praha at home, Bodo Glimt away, Copenhagen at home, and Monaco away. So not bad run of fixtures there. Newcastle, yeah, they've got a tough one to be fair. Barcelona home, Paris away, Benfica home. Benfica's always a tricky opponent. Leverkusen away, PSV at home, Marseille away, Athletic Bilbao at home, and Union Saint-Gilloise, who of course we faced a few years ago in the Europa League, make their debut, and it's an away fixture as well. So tough fixtures there. I think Liverpool have probably one of the toughest. I think alongside Man City, they've got a tough run of fixtures. I don't think anyone's got sort of like an easy set of fixtures. There's always going to be some games that are trickier than some, and it's not based on who's got the better team. Sometimes it's the environment that they're playing in. So Arsenal traveling to Slavia Praha, it's going to be a tough uh, place to get a win or get anything from. To be fair, so I'm looking forward to these fixtures. Some really quality teams, and it should be an exciting affair altogether. So yeah, excited about these fixtures coming up, and hopefully Liverpool can secure a couple of signings so we have a complete squad and we can challenge for major honors, including Champions League this coming season. So yeah, looking forward to these fixtures. And that is it for today, guys. See a couple comments there, and then we'll close the show. Daniel says, I have a feeling that Arsenal scores from open play and we score after two set pieces. He said two goals. I mean, to be fair, if Arsenal score a set piece, I wouldn't be hugely surprised. That's just their think right now they're in that zone where they pretty much, you know, have become experts at scoring from set pieces. My concern, I think, from a Liverpool point of view, is defensively. Set pieces definitely one for some concern, but even in open play, we haven't looked at our best in terms of our shape. It'll be interesting to see who plays right back because Szoboszlai produced a great performance against Newcastle, but is he going to be utilised there again? Question marks in regards to Bradley and Gomez. Are they fit enough to start in this fixture? Only time will tell. But we'll discuss this in the match preview, which should take place either today or tomorrow. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to AR and thank you to Daniel for your comments. Appreciating your engagement as always. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. As I mentioned, we'll do a match preview of Liverpool versus Arsenal either today or tomorrow, and then we'll definitely be doing a watch along on Sunday, and then we'll have a match reaction show later on Sunday evening. If you'd like to call in, you're welcome to do so. All my match reaction shows are calling shows for the viewers, so you can come on and have your say in regards to the match, and you can probably have your 2 cents in regards to the transfer window because we would have expected some sort of development or maybe some official news by then. So yeah, it should be exciting times, and hopefully Liverpool can get the right players through the door. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak with you all very, very soon. Goodbye.